So I did say that the original idea was to be complementary and to really focus on social science, which of course we're hopefully doing well. There were pretty amazing presentations today. But within 2 years of the beginning of the seminar in 2007, there were like these memory wars going on already. Yushchenko was in power, and that became like une affaire d'État with Russia. And suddenly all this research on the agenda, and the seminars opened itself up to topics on the Holodomor, on World War II, the kind of topics that Professor Magashi finds really, really, really difficult to engage. And then in 2012, it was Mayhill, who was a postdoctoral student at the Petrova Center at the University of Toronto, came to the seminar, and basically we were blinded by the light. And she never left the seminar, but it also highlighted the fact that the seminar increasingly was platforming research in history, not just memory research, memory politics, and research. So if you want to tell me why it happened, what happened to my original idea?
Well, as many of us know, you can't understand the present without the past. So it was only right that history be a part of a seminar on contemporary Ukraine, what's happening in contemporary Ukraine. A lot of it is a discussion about history, right? And what history is, can there be multiple histories, right? And so if we're talking about what are the serious themes in contemporary Ukraine today, a lot of it is about history, right? So I think it's really important in that regard, but also when we look at the applications from candidates for the seminar and the work that is being done on Ukraine, a lot of it is in history, right? And I think what is so important is that we have people like Marta, who's doing incredibly path-breaking work on new ways of thinking about the Holocaust, but we also have people working on history that is not about the Holodomor or the Holocaust, right? And new ways of thinking about the Soviet period, right? New ways of thinking about culture, right? And about the arts, about transnational ways of thinking about history. And we're able to sort of bring those new voices, right, and those new themes to the seminar. That's where a lot of the work is being done. Yeah, I don't know if you would add anything to that, Daria.
I joined the team in 2017, and that was the year when Marta first did her presentation as well. So we had really impactful panel on history that year. But I also would like to mention that Danyliw Seminar networking with other institutions, and Holodomor Research and Education Consortium in particular. So we had quite a few panels on the Holodomor, which brought scholars from different disciplines. And this is what is remarkable about this seminar, is that it is truly interdisciplinary. So it was not history per se, but it also encouraged collaboration between scholars. For example, I am in contact with demographers, with Natalia Livchuk and Oleg Volovina, and it was beneficial for everyone involved in history panels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one benefit of the seminar. So often we are separated by discipline, right? We go to history conferences or sociology conferences, and this actually brings together people from different disciplines interested in what's going on in Ukraine, right? So you do make those connections that you might not make otherwise.
Now, I understood early on, maybe intuitively, that I needed to be surrounded with good people, that I couldn't do it by myself. The academic part of it, I can't do it by myself. I can do it by myself in the logistical part of it. I'll mention that later. There's the production side as well. And if you ask me, how is the selection of the selection committee done? well, the outcome is a definite gender bias against my own gender, but that was not actually purposeful. The way it's done, again, it's I get impressed by people, and generally younger people. Fortunately, I get on with age, but I get impressed by people, and then it becomes absolutely natural that I invite them, and then that I partner with them. And the veteran, if you wish, in the team besides me is Oksana, whose recruitment was actually pre-Danyliw Seminar. There was this, when Oksana was still a doctoral student at Harvard, by the way, yeah, there was this workshop for young scholars, for graduate students and young scholars at the Kenan Institute, one of the major institutes of post-Soviet studies in the United States. We knew each other kind of, but kind of gelled at that moment. And when the first Danyliw Seminar was put together in 2005, I asked Oksana basically to join the team. And then later on, for family reasons, she had to step out for a few years, but basically I got on my knees and she's back. So she covers the whole span. And then with the symbiosis between the school and the seminar, I knew Yulia there's a very young picture of Yulia on the program, which actually, wow. We did some forensic search last week of pictures. Wow, that's Yulia. I was actually on her doctoral committee way back in 2006. So we knew each other, but the eureka moment, the haha moment, was at the second summer school in Dnipro. Petrovsk was still Petrovsk back then, in 2010, when Yulia was among the participants on the faculty. And she really, to me, was like, wow. Kind of came of age, if you wish, as a scholar. And then I asked her, why don't you come to the Danyliw Seminar? Not as a presenter, which she had already done twice, but as a member of the team, and she's never left. That's been 10 years ago. And then I told you about Mayhill in 2010, 12, Blinded by the Light, and then Daria in 2017. So that's how we recruit people. We just get impressed, and we re-invite them, and basically they kind of quite naturally join the team. But let's go back to Oksana, our veteran here. Because again, the original idea is let's study politics, social science, and we're both political scientists. Right. So if you want to share comments about how the seminar evolved on that mission.
I'll say a few words and kind of maybe even a little bit broader of the place of Ukrainian studies within political science, right? And I think that's a very good illustration of how the field evolved. I mean, I don't like to think of myself as a veteran, but I guess at this point, right, we are. And I think one of the things I remember starting graduate school in mid-90s in the US and kind of being interested in Ukraine. And that was really kind of unusual, and people even at the time encouraged me personally, and I think some other people who were interested in to sort of, like that maybe too narrow a focus, right? Like kind of comparative studies, other countries, which I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with that. But I think what we have been doing in the seminar here and the caliber of political scientists that have come through, I think really shows that Ukraine is now front and center of social sciences, not just sort of area studies, right? And I think that's exactly the kind of forum where many people who have done really cutting edge work that speaks not just to people interested in Ukraine, but to people interested in issues such as elections and kind of electoral politics, or say judicial independence, right? I'm just looking at political scientists who were in the Maidan, right, the inaugural year, Maria Popova and Josh Tucker and Professor Colton from Harvard, right, and others. And I think just to kind of maybe make one more comment on the interdisciplinary nature of the seminar, I think it's very valuable for people in political science, and I'll just speak for the discipline, to interact and learn from people in other disciplines who actually, spend time in the archives and don't just look at some database of gazillion million observations, right? And then it's sort of a challenge for us to then integrate these insights and maybe different ways of thinking, right? And even kind of like questioning some of the concepts that we just throw out there. And, in political science, say, group of scholars, nobody might question, but here you kind of come with interesting ways of thinking about it. So I think that I would like to, sort of the way it looks to me is that certainly Danyliw Seminar brought political science kind of and social sciences study of contemporary Ukraine into the light, but I think also political scientists benefited from this interdisciplinary nature of the seminar a great deal. So